So what we have here is an old Craftsman 5 horsepower chipper shredder. So this has got two ways, as you can see. It's got the way I'm using right now. That is the shredder portion where you would stick the longer, the thicker pieces of branches in there. And it says it can do up to 2, but I really wouldn't do more than like an inch and a half. So how this thing is operates is it has a flywheel that the engine is spinning, and attached to that for the shredder portion that we're seeing right here is basically 3 blunt metal fingers that spin around at a very high speed. They're loosely attached to that flywheel, and what they do is they basically pulverize the wood down to shreds. It works fairly decently. As you can see, that just ripped right through that little thin stuff like it's not even there. And right there where you're seeing me toss it in right there, the chute, attached to that front of that flywheel is basically a big, heavy, essentially it's a lawnmower blade that chops it all up, chops like leaves and little twigs like that up into little chips. And that actually works pretty well. It says it can only do up to like ½ inch. I've stuck bits of wood in there that were a little bit bigger than that were attached to smaller twigs like that, and it chips it up pretty easily. But obviously it's not going to be chipping up the stuff that the shredder will. Now this is a little slow of a process here. Now I've read that for every inch of wood that you want to chip, you should have 5 horsepower. So clearly, if you really want to be able to effectively chip to the 2-inch capacity that this thing is rated for, you really need a 10 horsepower chipper, which they're a lot more pricier than this old thing. And I would strongly recommend saving your money and not getting a model such as this. I would definitely recommend saving up for a bigger, more powerful chipper. These cheaper chippers, like at least in this design, they're not, especially this old design, they're not very effective. It's brutally takes a very long time. It's kind of a brutal process to try to chip up a decent amount of brush to go through here. Now the newer styles of chippers that you could get at like Harbor Freight or something like that, they have a different style, and that actually has blades, like multiple sharp blades that'll actually chip way more effectively than this possibly ever could. And that's what I would strongly recommend going for. But if this is what you got, well, it does the job okay. It's just going to take a very long time. Now, it might seem, yeah, because you can see here I'm struggling to get that thing in there. You basically have to get the wood in there perfectly, or else it's really not going to want to go. And once you get it all shredded up like that and the little pulverized end, it starts getting a little bit more difficult to get in there. But unfortunately, this is what I have, and this is what I'm making do with. If I had to chip a lot more often, I would definitely get a more powerful chipper. What I really want to do is, once I get my the Ford tractor that I'm rebuilding, once I get that done, I actually want to get a PTO chipper, which will be able to handle probably up to like 4-inch logs, which I wouldn't even really want to chip that, because at that point it's firewood. But yeah, this is as you can see how slow of a process is. I'm struggling just to get the stuff to go down there. And I was actually doing this from 3:40 till like 7 o'clock at night, and I still have more stuff to go through. But yeah, I would definitely recommend getting something more powerful, unless all you're doing is like little twigs or piles of leaves for compost. But if you have any serious chipping to do, either rent a big one or save up and get a bigger one.